in Houston, Texas, and neighboring cities under a lot of pressure. Houston, the fourth largest city, been underwater for most of the week. Some of the water is receding, but there are places that are still being flooded. Britain, the West Indies, the worstest team in the last 50 years, beats England. Where is Jaff boycott? Bangladesh beats the mighty Australia. Hurricane Irma is out there. School reopens on Monday. And we're taking Pat Rav to her final resting place today. That's the stories that we want to share with you, Britain. Good morning to you. It's Labor Day weekend. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning to you, Randy. I am very good. How are you?
Doing good. Holding up, being there for my great friends who have lost a loved one.
Yes, I've heard you playing Pat Rouse saying, I'm still celebrating life.
Yes.
And, I wish her family and friends, I express my deepest condolences to them. And I wish that Pat, she rests in peace as she celebrates life.
Yes, Pat, what a life. Great entertainer, beautiful sister.
Definitely. What's your weather like?
Got a good day. We taking a peek outside at Hurricane Irma, hoping that she stays far from us. But we seem to be having a good weekend. There are little tropical depressions out there, so over the next couple of days it might get a bit rough again, but looks good for a Saturday.
Yes, well, let's hope Irma stays away and leave us the way Harvey left us. Because we have seen the devastation that Harvey has caused in Texas in particular. And we the American government, the American president, they're looking at, in excess of $160 billion for repairs and everything else. So let's hope Irma stays away. And, we hope that things continue to go well as far as the weather is concerned in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I agree with you, Randy, that West Indies have pulled a rabbit out of the bag and they've beaten England. And who knows what could happen in the next test, which starts at Lord's next week. So we wish them well. We thank them for that victory and we wish them well. And things are happening all over the world. Brexit negotiations seem to have stalled, but we continue to monitor that. And as you said, it's Labor Day weekend in the USA. And we wish, in New York, we wish them well there. And we hope that they have a violence-free or as reduced a violence as possible celebrations. Here, Randy, let me just say good morning to all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and to all listeners wherever they are. The weather in London is sunny. Mostly sunny, in fact, and the temperature is 19 degrees Celsius, which is approximately 66 degrees Fahrenheit. On a view from the outside this week, Randy, we look at the issue of Expeditiously, 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 with the view being that St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to be mired in election mode because of the fact that the organs of the state have so far failed to act expeditiously. And as a consequence of that, election petitions which were filed in the courts soon after the general elections of the 9th of December 2015 are still to be decided. The Oxford Dictionary states that to act expeditiously is to act with speed and efficiency. And the Collins Dictionary states that to act expeditiously is to be quick and efficient. The backdrop of today's view stems from the fact that leading up to and following the general elections of the 9th of December 2015 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, there have been allegations of voter fraud and election rigging. The people took to the streets in protest on December 10th, 2015, and some remain on the streets up to today protesting those results. remain in the form of the front line. Despite their protest and their efforts to prevent the Prime Minister being sworn in, he still did so at nightfall. In view of all of that, the main opposition party in the country, the New Democratic Party, filed election petitions soon thereafter. Those election petitions are yet to be decided, and as such, it is clear that the organs of the state, including the courts, have neither acted with speed and efficiency, nor have they been quick and efficient. Because of that, it is reasonable to conclude that the organs of the state have failed the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Their failure to act expeditiously has left the country in limbo and as such in a state of flux. The judges of the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal, sitting in St. Lucia on the 7th of March 2017, recognize the failure to act expeditiously when they decided to remit the matter back to the High Court in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A ruling which they made after deciding that the judge who initially ruled on the matter acted with apparent bias when he made the decision to strike out the petition. In the written ruling, Appeal Justice Baptiste stated, and I quote him, "The order of the judge striking out the petition was set aside. The petitions were reinstated. The hearing of the petitions and motion to strike out were remitted to the High Court to be heard by a different judge expeditiously." So, the appeal court judges indeed recognize the need to act expeditiously. Well, we know that the matter eventually went back to the High Court in St. Vincent on the 2nd, 4th, and 5th of May 2017. And we know that the judge delivered her judgment on the 30th of June 2017. In that judgment, the judge ruled that the petitions are indeed valid and that they will be heard. We have been told that they will now be heard later this month, which is September 2017. The country awaits the hearing and subsequent ruling, and no doubt whatever transpires thereafter. So, December 2015 to today, which is the 2nd of September 2017, and those matters, those election petitions, are still not yet concluded. Why, oh why, you may ask, has it taken so long? Why is it taking so long? Why the delay? Who benefits from this delay while the country languishes? Who? It is a widely known fact, both in fact and in law, that election petitions, by their very nature, need to be decided expeditiously, because the country's governance is usually dependent on their outcome. In this case, it would be dependent on their outcome, because the government currently is enjoying a one-seat majority. So, if the petitions are delayed, it could mean that one party might be illegally entrenching itself on the people. It could also mean that another party is denied the opportunity of governance and, as a consequence, prevented from implementing its policies and moving the country forward. It is therefore imperative that election petitions are decided expeditiously. The delay in St. Vincent and the Grenadines so far, nearly 2 years, is unfathomable. And it is hoped that the speed and efficiency that is imperative will now be injected and become evident from here on in. While highlighting the failure of those in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to act expeditiously in the election petition matters, the momentous decision which took place in Kenya yesterday has to be mentioned. It has to be mentioned for several reasons, not least because the matter was decided expeditiously. It has to be mentioned because people usually refer to African countries as banana republic countries where justice is in short supply. And it has to be mentioned too because the cheers and celebrations and jubilation with which the majority of the people in Kenya appear to have greeted the decision. Well, yesterday, September 1st, 2017, the world was greeted with the news that the Supreme Court of Kenya had declared the disputed presidential elections, which were held in the country on the 8th of August 2017, null and void. In delivering the judgment, this is what the Chief Justice David Maraga said. I quote him, "The presidential election was not concluded in accordance with the Constitution, rendering the declared results invalid, null, and void." Unquote. He went on to say, and he went on to order, that fresh elections are held within 60 days. Just in case you missed it, let me repeat it. The elections in Kenya, the presidential elections, were held on the 8th of August 2017. The opposition filed election petition. On the 1st of September, in less than 1 month, the Supreme Court of Kenya delivered its ruling ordering fresh elections. Now, that is what it means to act with speed and efficiency. That is what it means to be quick and efficient. That is what expeditiously really means. Many believe that the ruling in Kenya, 4-2, a majority of 4-2, shows that justice has been dispensed in Kenya. Many believe too that election observers, local, regional, and international, have a lot to answer for when they deemed those elections free and fair. So, there was no banana republic justice in Kenya yesterday. It is worth noting what the opposition presidential candidate Raila Odinga said after the ruling. He called it a precedent-setting ruling, and he went on to say that the ruling is an exceptional example of all of Africa, for all of Africa. He said, I quote, "Our judiciary now knows that they have the power. We thank the Supreme Court for standing up for the truth." And this is what he says also, I quote him, "For the first time in the history of African democratization, a ruling has been made by a court nullifying the election of a president. This is indeed a very historic day for the people of Kenya and, by extension, the people of the continent of Africa." Unquote. On a view from the outside, we say, let it be extended to the people of the Caribbean too. That's the historic judgment in Kenya. Let it be extended to the people of the Caribbean too. Let it be extended to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines also. Let the Kenyan moment be a teachable moment for all of us. Let all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have the election petitions dealt with expeditiously. The law demands it, and the people demand it too. They all demand that the petitions are heard expeditiously. Let the people of the country be freed and relieved of the uncertainty which has enveloped the nation since the 9th of December 2015. Until next week, Randy, this is Bretton Horn with a view from the outside, with a reminder to our listeners to send their feedback to aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. That's aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. Randy, have a pleasant day.